Hi. You know, one of the common questions that I get from all of you is, what are we doing here in Juneau about the main reason we're here, and that's the budget. So I just wanted to quickly share with you the priorities that the Senate has. So starting with number one, we are here targeting a responsible budget. So what does that mean? The Senate is looking at reducing the budget $750 million over the next 3 years. What does that mean for this year? We're targeting a 5% reduction. That's 5 cents on every dollar that government spends in reductions. Secondly, we're looking at a spending limit going forward. Right now there's a spending limit in the Constitution, but it doesn't work. In fact, the spending limit in the Constitution is $10 billion. Well, last year our budget was $4.2 billion. So you can see the constitutional budget limit doesn't work. But we want to institute a spending limit that actually does work. And lastly, continue reforms. Reforms in Medicaid and also in education. Being smarter with both of those dollars. These two subjects, Medicaid and education, account for more than half of our budget. So that's what a responsible budget means. Now, after that, looking forward, we're also looking at using a percent of the earnings of the permanent fund. So remember that permanent fund is called permanent because it's protected in the Constitution. That corpus or main body of the permanent fund cannot be spent, but the earnings that spin off of it could be spent. That's where the permanent fund dividend comes from. So those bills are going to be heard in the legislature. What percent of those earnings reserves to use to buy down some of the budget gap that we have. So these are the two things. We want to make sure that we keep the permanent fund dividend, even though we may be using some of the earnings reserve. These are the two main things that we're working on right now in the Senate. And interestingly, in my district, these are the subjects I heard from people. These are the things they want to see done. But lastly, I want to make sure that you understand that we've heard from a number of economists this session. And across the board, they agree that we are in a recession right now. We want to pull out of this recession in the smartest way possible. Not spending down the next generation's money, but balancing our budget today. So taxes, we're told by the economists, are not the most prudent step forward right now, not in a recession. They also point out to us that the permanent fund dividend has a huge impact on our economy. So again, preserving that permanent fund dividend is important to having a balanced budget going forward. So that's a very short synopsis of the things that we're working on every day this session here in the legislature. Thanks for listening.